Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, then welcome. If you've watched some of my videos before, then welcome back. Today, I'm going to be reading some interesting Reddit stories to you guys while I spend some time in my Minecraft realm. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Before I forget, if you have a story you want me to read and react to, go ahead and send it to the email that I've dropped down in the description, and I'll be sure to get to it and read it in the next video. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into some stories. Alrighty, guys, the first story that we're going to be getting into is titled, I Don't Believe I'm in the Wrong. I believe that we all have had our fair share of rocky relationships. I had moved to Oklahoma to go to school about 6 years ago. It took a year for me to get a job and to get set up when I moved with my parents. Well, I had started this retail job back in September and worked directly with someone who I never knew I'd get with. I was in the middle of a relationship with absolutely no direction and absolutely no reason other than just the company, or what it seemed like to me. My girlfriend at the time lived in Texas, and I was trying to move back to finish my degree, etc., down there, and to see my relationship through. Well, that relationship failed for many reasons out of my control. So before we broke up, I was hanging out with this coworker quite frequently. Nothing too crazy, just getting food, ice cream, watching TV, and movies all night. Okay, I said not too crazy, but that's kind of crazy. Until early hours in the AM. She had been telling me to break up with my then girlfriend for a long time, and I had told her I felt like distant friends with my then girlfriend, anyways, and saw myself as single. My then girl was extremely distant and made little to no effort for communication, anyways, and ultimately went back to an ex, and that is already a disaster, LMAO. I did feel bad for hanging out and doing relationship things with this girl, but behind my back was a whole relationship, so looking back on it, I don't know, lol. Well, me and this coworker got together and things are fantastic. We both come from extremely educated families, wealthy families, and go to good universities. I had recently brought her home to my mom, and she was the first girl I ever took home because my mom is high class and her standards for me are extremely high, and my mom loves her to death. I had met her family, and they adore me as well. They recently had rented us an Airbnb in Texas in a coastal town for 5 days for me and my boys and her. Basically, everything I was looking for in someone I found completely unexpected. Looking back, I'm glad my relationship ended and I found new life in this one. Now she's well aware of everything and says I shouldn't feel too bad because my ex was literally dating me and her ex, who's now her man at the same time, and I believed she has a point. I guess it gives me peace of mind knowing I didn't cheat and that I was cheated on and just so happened to land in a much better relationship. But I do feel a little dirty in the sense. Was I in the right or in the wrong? All right. I kind of have mixed emotions on this one. Although the poster wasn't physically cheating on his girlfriend with this coworker that ended up being his future girlfriend, I still find that, like, it sounds, at least in my opinion, it seems like he was potentially emotionally cheating on his then current girlfriend and trying to justify it by saying that his girlfriend at the time was distant. And although they ended up finding out that she was cheating on him with, what has now become her current boyfriend, I don't know, guys. You'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think, but ultimately, I think that the boyfriend, the poster, and the ex-girlfriend were both in the wrong. It feels like they were both cheating on each other, kind of, and then both landed in relationships with who they were, quote unquote, cheating slash emotionally cheating on with. If that makes sense. I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you guys think in the comments, but that's just my 2 cents. But anyway, that story is now over, so we will dive into the next one. Alrighty, guys, the next story is titled, I Literally Can't Understand How I'm in the Wrong. I just like that title, funny. Anyway, this is a throwaway account. I don't have anyone else to talk to about this. Me, male in his 40s, constantly is at odds with my significant other, female in her 40s. Every argument follows the same pattern. For starters, I have some issues from my childhood. I cannot tolerate screaming, shouting, raised voices, especially in the higher register. Play Whitney Houston loud enough and I cringe and bolt out of the room. This has always been my boundary. If you're upset with me, tell me. Let's discuss. Explain to me what you feel I did wrong, and I'll accept your rational explanation and do better. Raise your voice at me, and I'm not hearing anything you have to say. My girlfriend has her own demons, including PTSD from some really heavy emotional abuse that her family put her through. That basically turned her into a recluse, to the point where the rare outings to a nearby eatery are a really big deal and require emotional support throughout the day and preparation. So, the arguments. As you may have guessed by now, she is not shy about screaming. Her claim is that she doesn't try to upset me on purpose, but also that she's not going to just sit there and let me insult her. How do I insult her? Well, I won't lie. I'm not always direct. Sometimes my dissatisfaction comes out in that sad, passive-aggressive way, in the form of little jabs or snide comments. Normally, in my previous relationships, I'd get called out on it by my partner, saying something like, "Do you really think that this is an adult way of handling this?" That would be like a bucket of cold water, definitely a catalyst for instant reassessment. This one, however, automatically sees it as an insult worthy of unleashing verbal hell at me. That's just one example. My favorite ones are where we would discuss a random Reddit post and I would disagree with her opinion in an unapologetic way, because I'd forget for a minute that I'm not allowed to have my own thoughts, oh geez, or to express them aloud. By the way, there was a perfect example of a snide jab for which she'd be screaming at me for. So, I make a mistake of expressing my opinion, and she starts screaming over a post that has nothing to do with her because my views upset her. The kicker. Without a blink or stutter, she tells me if I upset her so much with my comments, to the point of where she starts berating me instead of storming off or perpetuating the fight, I must ask her kindly, what is it that I did, and learn from that. To which my reply is for her to F off and to F her for gaslighting me into being her doormat. Ain't gonna happen. And of course, the fight is really on at that point. All right, just taking a quick break. That guy reminds me of that one story I read in a previous post of standing on business. He's standing on business, I guess. Back to the story. Another one. Every time I'm not sure if I may be wrong, I eventually cool off and go to her with an apology. In the last 5 years, I can't count on one hand the number of times where she apologized, despite the vast majority of fights started by her. When I would bring it up, at what would seem like a good moment for a heart-to-heart, she'd raise her voice immediately and inform me that it doesn't matter who started the fight, we both participated, and so we both need to take responsibility. I'm thinking, first of all, you don't give me an option to not participate unless I leave and go hide somewhere. Secondly, how can someone be so delusional to never apologize for her actions and to enforce others to take responsibility, while feeling no remorse whatsoever? Over time, the rift has become too huge to repair. I know that we are on borrowed time, and trust me, I'm no angel myself. These fights make me feel like not being around her. I can't have intimacy with her because all I can picture is her face hurling obscenities at me. When I do crawl out of my office and go upstairs, it's usually because I ordered some food for us, so we eat without talking, me on eggshells as she's playing some Reddit post, getting upset if I don't pay attention. In turn, she feels neglected by me. There is obviously no respect left from either one. Even when she isn't screaming, she talks at me, never to me. Then mocks me for having a problem with her tone. Tonight, she kept trying to connect, asking me what's wrong, how I'm doing, so I said F it, and I told her I'm unhappy. I feel like I have no voice here, no agency, and I'm tired. I've told her so many times, every time she screams at me, something inside me dies a little. Well, now it's all dead. Guess what she did? Yep, yelled at me some more, which means another night in an uncomfortable chair in my office because there is nowhere else to sleep. I know I should have left years ago, but I didn't. It wasn't always this bad, and I guess I'm hanging on it now. My last ditch effort is this post. Show me how I'm wrong and how she's right, and I'll do my best to address it. Thank you. And then the poster had an edit saying, "Thank you for your comments. No matter how harsh, they are important and appreciated. I just want to clarify something. It's not always this bad. She can be kind and loving, and we go through periods of getting along just fine. And even though I clearly see that these periods become shorter and shorter, I still hang on to the delusion that maybe we can work it out somehow. To be fair, I failed to state what is probably my biggest flaw. I am a very zero-sum person, so much so that I react without even processing it. You hurt me, I must retaliate tenfold. The flip side of it is that if I'm approached with kindness, I repay with the same kindness. I recognize that it makes me emotionally infantile, but I feel like it's just worth stating for context. All right. So after kind of reading that, some of my thoughts, I think honestly, the top rated, like upvoted comment on this post is pretty solid. It's kind of funny too. You are both absolutely horrible at communicating. Anyway, you need to start taking responsibility for your own penchant for making snide, passive aggressive comments instead of relying to a partner to call you out on the immaturity. You're being sulky and rude. Your partner needs to be rolled up into therapy if she thinks screaming is a justified method of communication. She is abusive and she needs help. Separately, you both need to do these things separately, as in separated. Oh, geez. Yeah, I kind of agree. It sounds like their communication styles, first off, don't align. They're complete opposites. He can't be yelled at. She likes to yell. She doesn't like passive aggressive comments. All he does is make passive aggressive comments. And I feel like if you have two people like that, that's not gonna mesh. And obviously, dude, if you feel like you're on eggshells all the time with your girl, and all you do is make passive aggressive comments that then pisses her off and she yells at you and you hate yelling, it doesn't sound like you guys should be together. That's just my opinion. I kind of feel like the author is in the wrong and his girlfriend's also in the wrong. I guess they can both be in the wrong. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I think, honestly, like I said, both of them are in the wrong, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, that story is now over. So we will go ahead and get into the next one. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our third story. It is going to be titled, Tell Me If I'm in the Wrong. I'm going to try to get through this one clean, but I already am seeing some grammatical errors, so I apologize. So, I'm going to try and make this short. I am a female, 24. My boyfriend and I have been together for about a year now. In the beginning of us starting out, before we were official, I slept with a close girlfriend of mine one night when I was drunk. So, quick backstory, it kind of just happened. We never had romantic feelings for each other. We didn't even talk about it the next day. It was just a lustful kind of thing in the moment. Also, my boyfriend had previously mentioned that he didn't mind me messing with other girls. So when it ended up telling him about the incident, I didn't think it would bother him, but he basically broke it off with me, saying I hurt him because I was with someone else and didn't mention it. We didn't talk for a few days, but ended up talking again, and of course ended up becoming official. But it's always been an issue and still is. He says I cheated on him, and I'm not able to talk to my friend anymore without it being a problem, and it hurts me because I owned up to hurting his feelings and hurting him, but she's a friend that I feel no romantic feelings for, and she's been a friend of mine for years. So I'm extremely sad that I don't get to talk to her anymore. I truly miss the friendship, and I don't have a lot of friends, and she's one friend I truly appreciated, and the times I've tried bringing it up, it always turns into a huge fight. I would love some real opinions about this. I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to about it. All right. So, my opinion on this, it's kind of tough because it sounds like the boyfriend, at least off of what the poster said that he didn't mind if she would do stuff with other girls. And then she owns up to it. She says the next day, and then the boyfriend is pissed. So I'm not really sure. I feel like the boyfriend Loki is overstepping if he's already given her the green light, like, hey, I don't care. And then she goes and does something and then he cares. I mean, bro, you told her you didn't care. I don't know. I guess he's really not standing on business like the other stories. But I don't know. I would say that he's kind of overstepping a little bit because if you guys hadn't implied yet at the time that you guys were exclusive, you said you weren't official yet, and he's giving you the green light, then I don't see why he's got a problem with it. Um, but yeah, that's just what I can gather from that story. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But anyway, that story is over. So let's go ahead and dive into a fourth story. So, the fourth story that we're going to read is titled Confused on Whether or Not I'm Doing Things Wrong. Hey everyone, just wanted to ask for some opinions here. Tonight, my girlfriend lashed out at me because I asked her to leave at 10:30 instead of 10:50. Keep in mind, she had come over at 11, so I had seen her for almost 10 hours. She then proceeded to tell me how selfish that is and how she should be enough for me, and I shouldn't want to spend time alone because I should want to spend all my time with her. She tells me these kinds of things all the time, where she says that I am selfish and I only care about myself. Obviously, I'm a little biased here and think that's not true, but tonight just feel so wrong. Like, is it wrong for me to not want to spend every moment with her? Keep in mind, she doesn't like half the things I like, so I don't do most of my hobbies in front of her. It just feels very controlling, and I wondered what some of you would think about it. Well, I'm not sure how long this poster has been with his girlfriend, but if they're out of that like 3 month honeymoon stage where you want to be together 24/7, I think it's a good thing to have your own time to yourself. I'm married and my wife and I love spending time with each other, but hey, at the end of the day, there is time that we want to have doing our own thing. We don't want to spend every waking moment, together. There's times where I'm busy doing one thing in the house and she's busy doing something else, and that's completely fine and completely healthy. I was reading the top upvoted comment on this post, and I really feel as if this is how I feel, but from the girl's perspective. This says, this poster writes, "From a girl's perspective, I think that is controlling, and it seems like she's being selfish in this situation, as you do need time apart from each other to have your own time, to also be independent. Otherwise, it becomes unhealthy and not very fair on you. Um, Also, it feels unfair for you to feel guilty about something which isn't even wrong." And I kind of feel the same way. It's good to want to spend time with your girlfriend, but you don't need to feel like you have to spend every waking moment with her. And if you don't, then she's trying to make you feel bad. So, poster, I don't think you're in the wrong. But yeah, just keep doing you. But that story is now over. We'll go ahead and dive into another story. Alrighty, our fifth story comes from the Reddit forum Raised by Narcissists. And the title of this story is, "I'm starting to think I was completely in the wrong." My mom called me today. We've only had one other conversation since she's thrown me out. Well, it felt like I was thrown out. She told me, "Pack your stuff and don't come back," a few months back. She called to say that she's still angry at me, but was praying about it. She said, "Tell me, did I kick you out?" I said, "I thought you did, yeah." She sees it as my decision to go with my aunt for a few days without consulting her was disrespectful, so she had to tell me to leave for good. Of course, my baby, 4 months at the time, went with me, so she feels like I took her grandson from her. She said, even though she told me not to call, I should have still called her if she never answers because she's my mother and I owe her that. The main thing I feel the most wrong about is the way I took it when she said, "I should have aborted you." Oh my gosh. I took it at face value. Today she explained what she meant. She says, "When I said I should have aborted you, I just I feel like I failed you as a mother. Not that you're a bad person." She didn't necessarily apologize, but she said she may have gone too far in a heated state. I'm starting to question myself, and I think I had my events all wrong. At the end of the call, she told me we need to have a hard conversation, which usually ends up being her telling me all the bad I've done and how I'm emotionally abusive to her. She wants me to call her another day and ask her when is a good time to talk face to face. I couldn't ask her while she was on the phone today. I have to call back. She said she has the ultimate authority as my mother and I have no choice. IDKY, but the idea of calling back and meeting in person to get grilled makes my chest hurt and I want to vomit, but I have to do it. I have to take what she's going to throw at me and not get upset. I'm 26 years old and I feel like an idiot for feeling anxiety just because I have to call her back. I can't avoid it. I'm going to see her at a family event. She expects to see me and my baby so she can tell her family I took her only grandson away. Oh, jeez. I'm probably not making any sense, and I'm sorry for rambling, and I'm sorry for being too long. This is the only place where I can really get this out. Thanks for building this community. Okay, my opinion on the story, when she said that she should have aborted him, she definitely meant that. She did not mean that she meant she failed him as a mother. She is trying to gaslight him. That's what I think, at least. Again, he's a grown adult. He does not have to call her and meet with her and bring her grandson back around her. I mean, she threw him and her grandson out on the street. I mean, at that point, you don't have to associate with her. And for her to say it's disrespectful for him to go live with his aunt for a few days without consulting her, you kicked him out of the house. Why does he have to consult with you anymore? You don't want to see him, allegedly, because you kicked him out. But really, I was reading some of the comments, and the first one uh, is pretty on point, I think. She said, "Your mom is trying to gaslight you, and you do not have to do anything. You're an adult. Period. End of story. You do not have to allow her to abuse you any longer. I know it's hard to get away from your parent, but it's best for you and your child." And that's kind of how I feel. I mean, if your mom is treating you that way, I mean, why would you want to continue to enable her for what she's doing, right? If you allow her to keep walking on you like a doormat, then she's going to continue to do so. So you need to make sure that she realizes that her actions have consequences, and her actions of throwing you out and treating you the way she has, she needs to have consequences of, okay, I'm not going to come around then. And period, end of story. Anyway, that's just kind of what I think, but let me know, guys, what you think of that story down in the comments. But that story is now over. Alright, guys, I think that is going to do it for me today. But I just really wanted to take a second and say how much I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, especially if you've made it this far. I really appreciate it. I do these videos in my free time. I really do enjoy making them. But at the end of the day, these videos are for you guys and for your entertainment. So I really appreciate you guys watching. It's kind of funny to me that I'm like, I just make these for fun, and there's actually people that watch these so, out there in the world. So I really, really appreciate it. You guys watching it really does mean the world to me. But yeah, if you like this kind of content, leaving a like would be epic. If there's any way possible that I can improve these videos for you and make them better, please leave a comment and let me know how I can do that, because I will take that in stride and try to make my future videos better. And if you could subscribe, that would even be more epic than liking. And you can't spell subscribe without you. I'm going to continue to use that joke until it dies, and hopefully it never dies. But anyway, guys, like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really does truly mean a lot to me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.